We're going to start by saying Tehillim Tezayin Posuk by Posuk. If you have the booklets, they should be shared out. It's on page 9. Divrei Fraida will be shared after the burial. Michtam LeDavid Shamreini El Ki Chasisi Vach Amaret Ladonoi Adonoi Oto Tovasi Bal Alecha L'Kedoshim Asher Ba'aretz Heima Va'adirei Kol Chef Tzivam Yirbu Atzvoisam Achir Maharu Balasich Niskei Hamidomu Valeso Es Shemoisam Al Sfosoi Adonai Menos Chalki V'Choisi Ato Toimich Geroli Chavolim Noflu Liban Imim Afnachlos Shofra Oloi Avorich As Adonai Asher Yotzani Aflelis Yisru Nichil Yisoi Shivisi Adonai Lenegdi Samid Ki Mimini Balemoit Lachein Samach Libi Vayogel Kvedi Af Besori Yishkoin Lovetach Kilois Aziv Nafshi Lishoy Lisitin Chasid Choli Reis Shachas Tedieni Yerachayim Sevas Mochis Espanachani Imes Bimincha Netzach. We'll now do the Kfura. Remind everybody that after the Chavru Kadisha are finished, everybody is welcome to come and participate. The children and children-in-law do not participate, and we do not pass the shovel from hand to hand. When you're finished, you stick it in the mound and somebody else will take it.
off for just a moment as they come and place the cover on top. Again, if anybody in this direction, please move. And anybody in this area here, please move that way. Clear, huh? Make it free. You know, we need a lot more space than I was doing. Get back to work. Give me one over there.
Nice. Nice.
Gentlemen, if you want to come back around this side.
Mrs. Nathan Moras Fraida Sima Basar Yitzchak Aleha Hashalom was a truly remarkable woman. Yesterday she was zeicha to hear Havdalah, to smell the besamim after Shabbos, and then together with her neshama Yisera, her neshama made its way to the next world as she was surrounded by her loving family. In Chabad tradition, it is considered a kindness to the neshama to refrain from hespedim. Mrs. Nathan, a few of your children will share some divrei preda, and after that we will honor you by not eulogizing. The many memories and stories and lessons that we take from your exemplary life will continue to be shared during the week of Shiva and beyond.
I can't believe this moment is here. I come from a family of performers, and right before my mother's fully went into hospice, we had a beautiful meal together with my children and the whole family, and I had a meltdown. And I couldn't join the family photos. We wanted to take one last group photo, and I couldn't do it. And my brother Schneier came upstairs where I was crying in a pile by myself in my mother's room. And he just sat with me and held my hand. And he said, Rivki, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but I'm here. And then I heard my mother calling me. And my father, I went downstairs, and my mother and father were waiting. They were coming to summon me specially. And I was crying, and I told my mom, I can't. And she said, Rivki, who's the best performer in this family? And I didn't know what she was saying, and she said, who's the best performer in this family? She said, you're gonna do this. And she took a tissue and she wiped my tears. She actually blew my nose for me. And I just gathered myself together because my mother said to do it, and we did it. And I'm now gonna just read a letter from my mother's big sister, Naomi, who she loved adoringly. A loving message from Ima's sister who could not attend for health reasons. Fraida was my good and beautiful baby sister. Though she was born with radiant brown eyes, a smile that put the Mona Lisas to shame, and a sweetness of demeanor that never left her, she grew up to become more beautiful still. Later in life, her eyes shone with the light of her good deeds, done not only for her family, for her friends, for her clients, but for all who needed her. Even in adversity, she regretted that she couldn't do more for others. Yes, my baby sister's life shone with beauty, the beauty of virtue that lives forever. Nothing and nobody can replace her in my life. Your loving sister through eternity, Naomi Nimi. Okay. That's from Naomi, and I'm going to say a few words to my mama. With praise and love. My mother, like her name, Fraida Sima, she was full of joy and simcha. And she was sameach b'chelka. She was happy with everything she had. It was always enough, and if something more came her way, she just celebrated, and she never expected anything. Fraida Sima Alice Joy. Her English name was actually Joy. She held herself to the highest standards. To the highest standards. Not everybody else around her, but herself. She made everything more beautiful around her. She would find, she loved to go walking through alleys. She taught me that. She said, you see lots of things in alleys that you don't see from the surface. And she would find these beat up old things, and she would make them beautiful and give them new life. And everything my mother did brought life to the people, the things. Nothing that she touched wasn't better because of it. I just want to speak for a moment about the kavod and love between my two parents, my mother and my father, who were together 47 years, beautiful years. And as we all know, we're all human, and there's ups and downs and all the things that make us human, and they did it so beautifully and gave us the best example. And one of the small things, this is just a tiny, tiny little thing. We all know that each of us as human beings, we're olam, we're a huge world, each and every one of us. And my father and mother, every meal that we had, every Shabbat meal especially, my mother always, without fail, gave my father the first portion. We would serve my father the soup, and he always, without fail, waited until my mother sat down with her soup before taking his first bite of soup. All of the years. That's just one tiny, tiny example of how our words don't teach, it's who we be. We're your walking, talking legacies. You live inside of us. And my mother was really concerned for a while. She always felt like to really be remembered, you needed to write things down. And she was worried that she hadn't written things down and maybe memories of her would be lost. But I'm here to tell you that that would never happen. We have enough memories in my mother's 68 years on planet Earth to last us hundreds of lifetimes. We walk with her. And my mother's holy vessel that carried her spirit all these years is here. But as we know, we're eternal beings, and she's with us everywhere. And she can see behind the veil now. She even said that to me when she was, it was a couple weeks ago, and she said, Rifki, I'm going to know what's behind the veil. I'm going to know what's there. You guys aren't going to know yet, but I'm going to know. I just want to say that I can only hope to achieve half of what you've achieved in this world, Ima. And I stand tall with good posture, like you taught me, with all of my brothers and my sister and all of you who are here to honor my mother. And we will always see things through Fraidel's eyes. Mom, you're always with us. It's just not possible not to be. And there won't be a walk that you won't be on with me going forward. There won't be a garden that I marvel at that you won't be right there marveling at it right there with me. I love you eternally, Ima. Love, Rifki.
I don't know fully what to say, but I'm just, rambling through something. I wasn't at my parents' the first date that they met, but they definitely, my father is very strong-willed emotionally, and then she was also very stubborn sometimes. The stubborn was, I didn't really understand it until recently, that it really is about emotional strength. And if you take a look amongst you, you'll see something called chizuk. Growing up, I used to go to Mishmar at Telz Yeshiva as a guy that went to Cheder Lubavitch, which that was kind of like, those are two opposite things, unfortunately. And so I didn't judge that. But my mother always taught me that chizuk is not important who you are or where you are. It depends. You could find it anywhere. And so if you take a look at everyone amongst here, you'll see that chizuk here. Your strength is our strength. Thank you very much.
I'm not quite as eloquent as some of us in our family, so I wrote it down. I'm more of a write it down like my mom. Okay, so we'll see if I could get through it. One second. I am sure I do not have the words for what I'm going to try and convey. Words to sum up a mother like ours, a real Ashes Chayil. My Ima was a force, a fire, a woman with the highest sense of purpose, whose morals were her compass and she lived by them, who stood for authenticity and truth, who's done endless acts of chesed to the extent that I don't even know half of them. More than that, everything my Ima did was with her entire being, in wholeness and wholesomeness. I cannot comprehend why this is our reality to be in a world without you. A world where my kids don't get to learn piano from you, or plant with you in your beautiful garden, or paint with you and eat your most delicious chicken soup. A world where you don't grow old with us. I'm sorry to be so sad. But I am beyond grateful for the years of life that I've been zocha to have you with us. To be raised by you, to learn from you and witness what it truly means to be dedicated and to love your husband, Abba. To be an independent individual, to not judge anyone and see a bigger picture. To always choose to see the truth and take action in life, to speak up and have a voice. Ima, I will miss your physical self here in this world with us so much. But I just love you forever. More than the tongue can tell. I love you forever.
Eliyato v'yodeka Eloi yarumimeka Eliyato v'yodeka Eloi yarumimeka Hodu l'Adonai kitov Ki li'olam chasdo Hodu l'Adonai kitov Ki li'olam chasdo. Ima, we sang this verse together on Wednesday at Rosh Chodesh. All of your children were zocha to sing this with you yesterday. Everything that Hashem does in the end is tov. It's good. In the end, even if we don't understand it in the context of Hashem's bigger picture, it's chasdo, it's kindness. Ima taught us that it's chasdo to be able to live a life infused with meaning and urgency, to achieve something positive with every moment we have on this earth. I don't claim to understand this right now, but we definitely know that Hashem does. And we know that you're with him right now. I was thinking about the one word to sum up my mother. It's what my sister Elishava said, and it's emes, truth. This was the essence of my mother. She wouldn't stand for anything less than truth. To those who are not used to truth, it could be difficult to hear it sometimes. But Emo is going to tell it to you straight. She didn't let people lie to themselves. She made the people around her better for it. She taught us all how to communicate directly, avoid falling back on avoidance and passive aggressiveness, and made our relationships better for it. My mother was born in Chicago. She was raised in Jefferson Park. She loved her family, friends, and she loved to dance and live life. She moved to Crown Heights when she was just 17. She moved on her own. It's not an easy thing for a young girl to do at a time without cell phones. But she did that because she was searching for knowledge and truth. She did that searching for emes for her Jewish tradition. She moved to Israel at Neve in 1973, and she learned with Rebbe Robeson. She was married in Israel to my dear father in 1975. They lived in Kfar Chabad together. They were the first wedding in the shul Beis Menachem in Kfar Chabad, where they lived for 2 years. My parents, they ran, and my mother, it's how things go, ran a Hachnasas Orchim house on 5050 North Kimball for 8 years. She was very proud of her 5 children and her 11 grandchildren. She loved music, gardening. She, as I said, she had an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and always had a deep respect for education. She was a wonderful mother, teacher. She was a licensed clinical social worker. She specialized in therapy, couples therapy, helping people with substance abuse, helping women who are victims of domestic violence. We're also proud of the work that she did with In Shifra's Arms, saving babies, saving marriages. She was so successful at this because of her education, her wisdom, her empathy, and again, her honesty. Ima, you showed us so much. These things spill out all the time, but one example that I love to say is you always taught us to be a giver, not a taker. Ima, on behalf of your entire family, we continue to hear you. We strive to fulfill this lesson, and we hope to instill this in your grandchildren. Ima, we ask for your mechila, forgiveness for any time that we failed to honor you fully and respect you adequately. Thank you for being our Ima, and we love you. Hodu Hashem ki tov ki li'olam chasto.
We will now recite the traditional words of Tziduk Hadin, accepting, as Shneir said, accepting Hashem as the true, unobjectionable judge, and ask Hashem to show his compassion on the living. It's on page 23 in the Hebrew or on page 24 in English. Hatzur tamim palei kichol derachav mishpat Elamun of Yenov El Tzadik Vyosher Hu Hatzur Tamim Bechol Poyal Miyim Aloi Matzifol Hashalit Bemato V'mal Memis Umechaye Meirichel Vayoal Hatzur Tamim Bechol Mase Miyim Aloi Maitase Oimer Vyoise Chesed Chinam Lanusase V'schus Hanekat Kese Hakshiva Vase Tzadik b'chol derochav hatzur tamim erech apayim umali rachamim chamol novchus na'alavis uvonim ki lecha adon haslichos v'harachamim Tzadik hato adinoi lahamis ulahachyois asher biyodcha piktin kol ruchos chalila lecha zichrinenu limchos v'yunoi necha berachmim alinu v'kukos ki lecha adon harachamim v'haslichos Adam im ben shana yichye oy elef shanim yichye ma yisrael loy kelay hoye Baruch dayan ho emes me misum chaye Baruch hu ki emes dinoi meshoitei hakoil b'yeinoi u'mashalim liyodam cheshbonei v'dinoi v'hakoil lishmei heidoyo yiteinu Yodanu adinoi ki tzedek mishpatecha titztak b'dovrecha v'siska b'shoftecha v'hin lahar hirachar midas shoftecha tzadikato adinoi v'yasher mishpatecha Dayon emes shreifit tzedek v'emes baruch dayon ha'emes shekol mishpotov tzedek v'emes nefesh kol chai biyodecha tzedek molo yiminecha rachim al plitas tzein yodecha v'seim el malach heref yodecha Gedeil ha'itza v'rav ha'aliliya asher inecha pekuchais al kol darchim b'nei yodam losis le'ish kidrocha v'chifrim al olav lahagid ki yosher adinoi Tsuri v'lo yavlosa b'y Adinoi nasan v'adinoi lakach yehi shem Adinoi meveirach v'hu rachem yechapi ravin v'lo yashchis v'hir b'lo hoshivapi v'lo yoir kol chamasai We'll now say Tehillim Mem Tes on page 26, invoking the words of David HaMelech, in which we recall the temporary nature of our lives in this world and of our material assets. Lam natzeh yach livnei koirach mizmoir Shim uzois kol ha'amim ha'azinu kol yeshvei choled Gam b'nei yodam, gam b'nei yish yachad oshir v'yavyoin Pi yedaber chochmeis v'hagus libi sevuneis Atel Moshe lozni yaftach b'chin erichidosi lama ira b'meira avin akeva yusu beini habeitchim al chelam avriva sham yisalalu Och lifade yifte ish lo yitin lelihim kofre v'yekar pidin nafsham v'chodal liyelam V'chi lo netzach l'yira hashachas ki yira chacham yamusu yachad k'sil bavar yevedu v'oz v'lachirim chelam Kir bam batei meliyelam mishkaneisam l'deir v'deir karu v'shmeisam alei adameis V'adam bikar bal yolin nimshal kabehimis nidmu zeh darkam kesel lamei v'achreihem b'fihem yirtzu sala katzein lishel shatu mavis yirim v'yirdavam yisharim labeker v'tzurim levalish shiyel mezavuloi achelihim yifta nafshi miyad shiyel Ki kacheni sela al tira ki ashirish ki yirbe kaved beisai ki loiva meisa yikach hakoil Lo yerid acharov kaveda ki nafshi b'chayov yivarech v'yaducha ki seitiv loch Tove yad deira v'isa v'netzach lo yiru eir odom bikar v'lo yaven nimshal ka behemes nidmu Kaddish Amen. Amen.
Amen. Friends, immediately following our service here today, the rabbi will lead us in the ancient custom of the Shura. The Nathan family was sitting in Shiva back at the Nathan residence, 2704 West Chase. The times are available. I'll read them. They're rather quick. Chakra 7:30, Mincha 5:35, Marav 6:15. Memorial contribution in Mrs. Nathan's memory to Congregation Beis Menachem and in Shifra's arm. In addition, I just want to say we're going to get everybody out of here. Baruch Hashem, we have a very large chevra here. Also, thank you to those who are joining us online. Once we line up and we do the shura, just follow instruction, go to your cars immediately, obviously, and just pay attention to the cemetery workers who have a path out for all of us. Don't try to get out in front of anybody. Everybody just wait and be patient. We'll get everybody out on time. Thank you.
We ask that everybody please pass up the booklets to go back in the box over here in the middle. We ask b'shem the whole olam, we ask mechila from all the people around if we inadvertently were not the most respectful while we were showing our last respects to Mrs. Nathan. Please, we ask that all the women should immediately make their way to the cars and wait over there, and the men should please wait behind in the meantime.